Panama City Beach has a mandatory mask ordinance, and I read the ordinance, and they have fines associated with it. And I go into local businesses, and people aren't wearing a mask, and someone will say to them, "Where's your mask?" And they'll scream and holler and say, "It's in the car. I have rights. I don't have to wear a mask." And I talked to the manager, and the manager says, "Well, I can't enforce that." And I called code enforcement, and they said, "Well, just call the police, and we'll get around to it." What's going on?
Yeah, Ned, right now what's going on is there's a little bit of confusion because Panama City Beach is the only one that has a mandatory mask ordinance. And if you're out on the beach, if you don't know where the Panama City cutoff is versus the Bay County cutoff, there's a lot of confusion. I went by restaurants this past weekend, Ned, and there was absolutely no social distancing and no mask. Here at the station, they have a mask ordinance, if you will, but it's not, by government. So here, the violation is, and I'm looking at my notes here, the violation can be picked up by either the city police department, the fire department, or the code enforcement officer. And so for first events, it's a violation, it's a ticket that's basically written. And so right. And so businesses cannot enforce them themselves. They have to have law enforcement do it. When there's an ordinance, when there is an ordinance, that is a county or a city or a state law or rule that is in effect, and you have to have law enforcement or somebody with police powers. People don't know this, that code enforcement actually has police powers. If you see code enforcement around Bay County, many of them, they have not many of them, all of them have a badge, and many of them carry a firearm on their side. They have arresting and police authority. So it can be code enforcement, fire department, or the city, with the current ordinance out in Panama City Beach, the city police department, that can write up the violation. The business owner does not have that right, but they do have a right to refuse somebody's service, and they can ask them to leave, and they can ask them politely, and then they can up the ante and say, "If you don't leave, I'm going to call and I'm going to trespass you." Now, that's up to the business owner to do that. As a consumer, if you see that going on, or you see the mamby-pamby business owner just not caring about what's going on, then you have the right to leave the establishment as well and go find some other place. I personally drove by several restaurants when I saw 100 people, eyeballs and elbows. I had to be careful about that. Standing outside, not a single one of them with a mask and no social distancing. I chose not to go into that restaurant. And so that's just food for thought, Ned, but that's a great call and a great question. Thank you.